Yes. So today we will discuss a new topic of chickens, an important disease of chickens that is called as infectious bronchitis, a very important disease of chickens. This disease is known for its rapid spread. This disease is rapidly spread along the premises of the bird flock, where the bird is being maintained. That this disease is rapidly spread. This is one of the most important uh, character of this virus and this disease. Another thing of interest is that it is due to coronavirus. So we are very acquainted with corona, but this is not the novel corona. This is the traditional corona. It is not a novel corona. So now we should start discussing in detail about this disease. First of all, a short definition. How can you define this disease? So it is an acute and highly contagious respiratory disease of chickens. So not only spread rapidly, it is also very highly contagious. Highly contagious disease of chickens. And as the definition suggests, it is a respiratory disease, and also the name suggests that it is a respiratory disease basically affecting the trachea and bronchi, but in reality it is not the case. The virus has affinity for kidney also, for oviduct also, for intestine also, but basically the symptoms is observed in the respiratory system. Therefore it is named so, infectious bronchitis, based on the manifestation of the disease, which is mainly respiratory. Accordingly, it has been named infectious bronchitis, and therefore it is an important disease of respiratory disease of chickens. It affects only chickens, no other birds, and it is caused by infectious bronchitis virus, which is characterized by severe respiratory signs that includes gasping, open mouth breathing, coughing, sneezing, and this is tracheal rills. Tracheal rills means sound production during inspiration and expiration. There is a sound production, and there is also nasal discharge. Usually, facial swelling is not absorbed or rarely observed in this case. Facial swelling is basically a symptom of infectious coryza. In infectious bronchitis, facial swelling is very little or even absent. In only some cases, uh, facial swelling can be observed. So it is also a point of differentiation between infectious coryza and infectious bronchitis. If you remember, I have told you that there are many respiratory diseases of chickens. Say, for example, infectious laryngeal tracheitis, CRD. If you remember, these are some of the important respiratory diseases of chickens. But on the basis of symptoms, you can differentiate it between the Ranicate disease. Ranicate disease is very severe disease in comparison to infectious bronchitis. Also in Ranicate disease, there is nervous sign, and in this case, there is no nervous sign. And I was telling you that in infectious coryza, there is facial swelling, which is usually absent in this case. So you can observe it carefully and get some point of differentiation between these different respiratory diseases of poultry. So how can we introduce the disease? As you have read it, it is highly infectious and contagious. First point. And not only respiratory affection, it also affects oviduct and also affect kidney and also the intestine. Remember one point that the virus can be isolated from the body of chickens from two organs. One is the trachea, where it affects majorly, and the other is the cecal tonsils, that is from the intestine. But in intestine, there is no formation of any lesions. The cecal tonsils in later phase of the infection is usually used for isolation of the viruses. but it affects and causes damage to the oviduct, cause damage to the kidney. Naturally, the changes in the oviduct will be observed at the later stage at the maturity of the bird, manifested by the decreased egg layer production, egg production, change in the shape of the egg, change in the quality of the egg. And in case of kidney, there is no usually any symptom. Kidney is damaged, but usually symptom of any kidney damage do not occur. In this case also, the symptom is usually of respiratory system. In kidney affection, the symptom is usually of respiratory system. In kidney, there is lesions. Majority of the lesions, major changes can you see in the kidneys, but symptom is usually absent in case when kidney is affected, but lesions are there. So the economic importance of this disease is that mortality is usually zero. Usually no mortality is observed. However, morbidity is about 100%, but death is usually zero. But in some new virulent, highly virulent IV virus, there can be some mortality, even approaching 50 to 60%. But the problem arises when this virus get infected, the poultry, the chicken get infected other than this infectious bronchitis virus with mycoplasma, Haemophilus, E. coli, or some other viruses, then the mortality increases. So in nutshell, mortality is usually zero, but the affection in the oviduct usually lead to the decrease in the egg production and the quality of the egg. And in broilers, it causes decrease in the weight gain. So you can see the virus affect respiratory organ, the renal, and the reproductive system. Therefore, it is named as 3 R's: R plus R plus R. R for respiratory, R for renal, and R for reproductive system. Regarding etiology, very important at this time, it is due to coronavirus. It is due to infectious bronchitis virus, which belong to genus Gamma coronavirus. Gamma coronavirus.
जी.
So, let me tell you about something about this coronavirus. This is a diagram of coronavirus. So, you know, in a virus there is nuclear core containing of either RNA or DNA material, and externally it has the protein layer. Similarly, in this virus also, you can see there is a single-stranded RNA genetic material, single-stranded RNA genetic material in the core of the virus, and externally it has a envelope of protein. Envelope of protein. Most important is the finding of this type of club-shaped, these club-shaped peplomers. These club-shaped peplomers gives the virus appearance of a crown. एक मुकुट की तरह दिखता है, just like a crown. And from there, the word corona has been derived. From the word crown, since the virus resembles a crown, the word corona has been coined from its resemblance with crown. So, in nature, there is different antigenic variants of infectious bronchitis virus, but all these variants have some common antigenic group. There are also different serotypes. Some serotypes affect heavy birds. Some serotypes affect lighter birds. Some serotypes affect young age birds. Some serotypes affect growing age birds. Accordingly, two important serotypes, that is Massachusetts and Connecticut. These are the two important serotypes which affect the lighter birds in their respiratory system. And T strain, T serotype, gray serotype, and Halty serotype. These three serotypes affect aviar birds and are responsible for damaging the kidney. So, nemotoxic it can be nephrotoxic. And these two serotypes in respiratory toxicity and these three serotypes in kidney toxicity, you should remember for an objective point of view and for interview point of view. In one chicken, it is not necessary that only one serotype will affect. Many serotype can affect simultaneously a single bird. So one more thing in this diagram, you can see that in the surface protein, there are three types of proteins. Surface of the virus, there are three types of protein. One is envelope protein, this orange one, envelope protein. This green one is the membrane protein, and this clubs of papillomavirus are the spike protein. And this is most important from pathogenicity point of view. This spike protein I will need when I will discuss pathogenesis. Regarding host, chickens are the only natural host of the infectious bronchitis virus. Only chickens. And you know, it can affect respiratory system in the young chicks and under 10 weeks, that is growing chickens, it affects the kidney. The source of infection is basically the affected birds, and the transmission is airborne transmission. Most important spread means is through airborne transmission. However, fecal material, fomites, and exceptionally by eggs, the disease can be transmitted from one bird to another. Regarding pathogenesis, the time you know that the main route of entry is through airborne transmission, that is through the inhalation route. So the virus will enter the respiratory system and mainly it affect the trachea and the bronchi. The lesion will be produced not in the lungs, in the upper respiratory tract, in trachea or the bronchi, and after application, the virus will come in circulation and it will intestine, kidney, and the oviduct. So overall, four system can be affected: respiratory system, GIT, kidney, and the oviduct. And the main change is brought in the respiratory system and kidney and oviduct. No change you will see in intestine. No lesions can be observed in intestine. One important thing is the incubation period of this virus is very small. Within 1 to 3 days, the virus starts replicating in the respiratory trachea, and new viruses start budding and coming out from the epithelial cells of the trachea within 3 to 4 hours. So remember, in the diagram I have said you, this S1 spike protein is most important from pathogenesis point of view. In this S1 spike protein, there is RBD, that is receptor binding domain. In the virus, there is a receptor binding domain in the S1 spike protein, and in the host epithelial cells, particularly of the kidney, oviduct, and the trachea, there is salicylic acid receptor. For this domain over the virus, salicylic acid receptor is present on the host cell surface. So there is binding between the RBD and the salicylic acid receptor of the host cells, which helps the virus, to gain entry inside the host cell, and it releases its nucleocapsid inside the host cell cytoplasm, and the rest of the story is similar as with any viruses regarding its replication, its budding and release. Regarding clinical sign, most important is it is very rapidly spreading. It is very rapidly spreading. Morbidity is always 100%, but mortality varies. The traditional variant of IB virus do not cause any mortality, but the new highly virulent IB virus have seen to be causing mortality even about 50 to 60%. Also, in case of infection with other bacteria or bacteria like E. coli, mycoplasma, or other viruses like RD virus, ILT virus, the mortality will increase naturally. Regarding symptom, there cannot be any symptom, or there may be symptom related to the respiratory system. So, if it affects the respiratory system, particularly in the young chicks, young chicks, respiratory form is common, which is characterized by asphyxia. Asphyxia is common in young chicks, so it will be evident by rales, the sound production, gasping, labored breathing, sneezing, nasal discharge. Facial edema is usually absent, but in some cases, facial edema can be observed, and there is also increased lacrimation. So, in this diagram, young chicks affected with infectious bronchitis showing gasping, open mouth breathing, which is usually called as pump handle breathing. So there is severe respiratory distress and death may occur due to asphyxia. This is called as pump handle breathing. Other than respiratory form, there is reproductive form. It is also important part. There will be damage to the oviduct. The oviduct will damage, particularly in the adult birds. Also, the egg production in terms of quality and in terms of quantity, it will decrease. And one important change you can see is watery albumin. What is this? Naturally, you have seen a broken egg, the consistency of the yolk and the albumin. So, albumin is of less consistency than the yolk, but it is not as similar to the water. But in this case, the consistency becomes almost watery type, very little consistency, and it is almost water-like. This albumin. And important thing is also that the laid eggs are usually smaller, misshaped, deformed, and the egg cells, you can see corrugation, ridges, leathery appearance of the egg. The eggs are deformed in terms of shape, in terms of egg cell uh, appearance, and in terms of size also. The size becomes small, the shape changes, and the eggs appear appear highly corrugated, distorted. So there can be abnormal development of oviduct also. A functional oviduct can be damaged, and in growing chicks there can be development of abnormal oviduct. And due to this abnormal development of oviduct, when these young chicks will grow and start laying, it will be a case of blind layer. Blind layer means the laid eggs will not come outside of the body through oviduct, but it will be absorbed in the abdominal cavity, peritoneal cavity of the bird. It will be laid inside the peritoneal cavity of the bird, which may cause egg peritonitis, and such cases are called as blind layers. Also, the affected egg, if it is uh, if there is zygote inside the egg, developing embryo inside the egg, this embryo may be misshapen. The the born uh, chicks will be misshapen. They will be showing curling and dwarfing of the chicks. See, in this diagram, these two chicks are normal, developing fetuses, embryo inside the egg. It is normal, but in case of infected eggs, there is dwarfing and curling of the chicks inside the egg cell. These are normal inside the egg cells, and this the changes. You can see the dwarfing and curling of the chicks. In this diagram, you can see the highly misshapen and deformed egg. Even the egg cells are very thin, not as thick that you normally see due to deposition of calcium carbonate. Since the oviduct is abnormal, there is no proper deposition of calcium carbonate. These egg cells become very thin and misshaped. The egg is misshaped. You can see the corrugations over the egg cell. So this is characteristic finding of infectious bronchitis. In case of kidney affections, that is in renal forms, usually under 10 weeks of age, that is during the young growing birds, no sign can be seen, no symptom can be seen other than the respiratory sign. Changes is seen in the kidney, but sign is seen in the respiration. Respiratory sign can be seen. So in renal form, there can be no motility in milder form, and even motility approach about 30% in severe form. Regarding lesions, so first of all, macroscopic lesion that you can see with naked eye. So the changes in the respiratory tract, reproductive tract, and the nephrotic tract, kidney. In respiratory tract, major change you can see in the trachea. In older chickens, there will be mucus deposition and redness due to congestion, and usually no hemorrhage is seen in the trachea. In trachea, you can see redness due to congestion. You can see mucus discharge, but usually there is no hemorrhage in trachea, as you see in ILT, infectious laryngotracheitis. There is profuse hemorrhage. In this case, there is no hemorrhage in trachea. Air sacs show frothy appearance. One most important thing in very young chicks, and usually death occurs in young chicks due to this characteristic finding. What is this? This is a formation of mucus plug. Mucus plug at the tracheal bifurcation, where the trachea bifurcate into two bronchi. At this point, there is formation of mucus plug, and you can easily understand if the point of bifurcation is blocked due to some mucus plug, there will be severe asphyxia, particularly in the young chicks, and there can be death also. So presence of yellow mucus cheesy plug at the tracheal bifurcation, particularly in the young chicks, is an important indication and suggestive of infectious bronchitis infection during postmortem examination. The air sacs also become thickened and opaque, important finding. And when it is there is some other pathogens along with IBV, there can be asacculitis, hepatitis, pericarditis also. Regarding reproductive tract, see what is this? Fluid yolk material may be found in the abdomen. It is due to abnormality in the oviduct. Since the egg are not being laid outside, the yolk can be found in the abdominal cavity, peritoneal cavity, and may cause egg peritonitis. Ovary is abnormal and there is presence of misshaped follicles. Ovarian follicle shape changes in the ovary. Eggs, on the egg cell, on the surface there is ridges, and the albumin particularly becomes very thin, which is what called as watery albumin, an important term for objective, watery albumin. In no other case, even if you remember the disease EDS, egg drop syndrome, there is changes in the shape and size of the egg, similar to infectious bronchitis in egg drop syndrome EDS, but there is absence of this change. Watery albumin is not found in case of EDS. So, seeing the egg quality, you can differentiate this from the EDS. Next is nephrotic form. That is change in the kidney. So usually the kidney become pale and swollen, but due to heavy deposition of the uric acid paste, pasty uric acid, salts of uric acid, urates, the tubules, the renal tubules, particularly in the medulla portion of the kidney, the renal tubules are highly distended with urates and appear yellowish whitish, swollen ureter, which appears yellowish white. In layers, urolithiasis, that is formation of a stone, can occur, but this is helped by certain diets also. It is some diet is also responsible for formation of a stone in the renal tract. These are some photographs showing the macroscopic changes. See, this is the trachea. You can see the mucus in the trachea. You also see the redness, that is due to congestion, but usually there is no hemorrhages. So this is the change in the trachea. This is air sac, which has become opaque and thickened. Opaque and thickened air sac. And here you can see the plugging of the trachea near the bifurcation into two bronchi. These are consolidated congested lungs, usually not seen in IBV alone, but in case when it is complicated with other bacteria this sign of pneumonic sign, congestion and consolidation of lungs can be observed. This is the misshaped ovarian follicles. You can see this green arrow shows the misshaped ovarian follicles. Okay? And this yellow arrow shows the atrophied oviduct, functional atrophy, morphological atrophy of the oviduct. Here you can see the abdominal cavity filled with yolk, fluid yolk material due to not possible of laying of the egg outside. The egg is laid, the immature egg is laid in the abdominal cavity, peritoneal cavity, and this yellow fluid material of yolk can be observed in the peritoneal cavity. Here you can see the egg cell mishappening of the egg cell, and this is what we call watery albumin. This is the yolk, and the egg has been broken, and the albumin has been spread throughout the plate. As it is of consistency of water, it becomes so thin that it occupies the space of the container. Here, the whole plate, it has been spread similar to water. Therefore, the albumin is called as watery albumin, an important term. In this photograph, you see the kidneys is swollen and pale. Here, deposition of urate is not seen, but in this diagram, there is severe deposition of salt of uric acid. Severe deposition. The urate, the tubules hasn't become distended and it is appearing whitish. Same is the case in this diagram. The tubules is appearing white, distended with the ureter is distended with urates. In this diagram, mild whitish deposition in the kidney is seen, but salpingitis, inflammation of the oviduct can be visualized in this photograph. Mild nephrotic changes with salpingitis. In this photograph, you can see. So let me tell you about the microscopic lesions. So changes will be seen in the trachea and bronchi, basically in the kidney and in the oviduct. So in the trachea and bronchi, there will be inflammatory change and degenerative change. Most important change in microscope you will see is the deciliation. That is the removal of the cilia. The cilia breaks and are removed from the tracheal linings. So there will be deciliation in the tracheal epithelial surface, and initially there will be the infiltration of neutrophils, but later on you can see the huge number of lymphocytes, aeration of huge number of lymphocytes, and also later on you can see uh, hyperplasia of the epithelial cells and lymphoid follicles like formation in the epithelium of the trachea. So in initial phase there will be mild inflammatory change due to there will be accumulation of neutrophils, and in later stage there will be accumulation of lymphocytes basically. Also monocytes, mononuclear cells will be deposited in the tracheal lumen, and there will be severe deciliation. The cilia will be broken. There will be de-esquamation of the epithelial cells. So these changes can be seen in the trachea and bronchi. And in the air sac also there will be the de-esquamation of epithelial cells. Edematous trachea, edematous air sac will be there. There may be fibrin deposition. Usually in case of complicated case, there can be fibrin deposition. In kidney, the change is majorly of interstitial nephritis. If you have gone through the systemic pathology and studied changes in the kidney, every change that you see in interstitial nephritis can be seen in this case of infectious bronchitis virus. The medullary collecting tubules, particularly in the medulla, the collecting tubules epithelial cells are de-squamated. There will be degenerative change visualized by their roundings, their vacuolations. You can see hyaline deposits, that is this protein, denatured protein deposits in the renal tubules. There may be formation of a stone. There will be accumulation of urates in the kidney tubules. And the oviduct, there will also epithelial damage. The tubular glands will be dilated. There will be infiltration of mononuclear cells. These mononuclear cells consist of lymphocytes, monocytes, and plasma cells. Monocytes, lymphocytes, and plasma cells. And similarly, there will be a formation of proliferation of lymphoid follicles. We know there is no lymph glands in birds. These lymphoid follicles are similar to lymph glands. So this is microscopic changes, histological pictures of the respiratory system in the trachea. You can see the loss of cilia. This diagram, this red arrow depicts the loss of cilia at different points of the trachea. In this diagram, this blue arrow shows what is this? These are goblet cells. Hyperplasia and hypertrophy of the goblet cells leading to mucus, high mucus formation. So there will be mucus deposition in the trachea due to hyperplasia and hypertrophy of these goblet cells. And here also there is loss of cilia in the trachea. In this diagram, with time there will be hyperplasia. In the later stage, you can see hyperplasia. The epithelial cells start regenerating, and there will be hyperplasia of the epithelial cells in the tracheal mucosa. Here, this redness, this green arrow shows this red mark, which is indicative of congestion. Usually, there is no hemorrhage, but there is congestion. So this redness indicated by green arrow is congestion, and this yellow arrow shows the infiltration of mononuclear cells, that is plasma cells, lymphocytes, monocytes. These round mononuclear cells indicated by the yellow arrows. So let me summarize the changes. Macroscopically and microscopically both. In nasal cavity and sinuses, there will be a mucus or cheesy exudates. Bronchi may contain caseous plug. In reproductive system, oviduct will be atrophied. There will be cystic dilatation. Ova may be ruptured. Yolk fluid will be in the abdominal cavity. Kidneys are enlarged. There will be ear deposits. Microscopically, trachea will show edema, congestion. Hemorrhage is usually absent, but in complicated case, there may be hemorrhages, lymphocyte infiltration, hyperplasia. In kidney, there will be accumulation of lymphocytes, plasma cells. There may be hyaline cast, urates, and other deposits. There will be atrophy and accumulation of lymphocytes, monocytes, plasma cells in the oviduct. So diagnosis is usually based on clinical signs and lesions. So as I told you, these signs and lesions may mimic with the changes of the Ranicate disease, with the infectious laryngotracheitis, with ADS. So have told you the severity is more in Ranicate disease. There may be presence of nervous sign in Ranicate disease. This is usually absent in infectious bronchitis virus. Similarly, there is no hemorrhage or very little hemorrhage in trachea, but in ILT, you can see profuse hemorrhage in the trachea. This can help in differentiating this disease from the other infections, and in particularly the egg condition mimic with the EDS. In EDS, there is change in the egg quality uh, on the shape and size, but the alumen is usually untouched. Internal quality of the egg is maintained in EDS, but in infectious bronchitis virus case, internal quality of the egg is also damaged. So this can help you in differentiating with different diseases. Other than this sign and lesions, the various laboratory tests, which includes the virus neutralization test, immunoperoxidase, immunodiffusion, immunofluorescence, heme agglutination inhibition test, and this ELISA is particularly more sensitive and usually used, but it can cross reactivity with other strains also. However, ELISA is the most important laboratory test for diagnosis of infectious bronchitis. So this was all about uh, infectious bronchitis. So if you have any question, you can